Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about constitutional money, one of my favorite topics. Money based on constitutional principles. Stay tuned. So everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk about a favorite subject of silver, and in particular constitutional silver. Lots of channels you see here on YouTube always have these discussions about what their favorite coin is, what their favorite silver coin is, and they usually end up talking about things like the American Eagle and all this shiny stuff, whether they're going to argue about the Canadians, and their coins, or some other fancy design that they might have that are all really cool, and they'll go off on a tangent about why they like whatever coin or whatever. But rarely do people talk about constitutional silver as being a favorite. And really, I think you got to give credit where credit's due. This is where it all started. This is what led to the mint really having to make coins again. There's the historical reference to the constitutional requirement to make gold and silver coinage. So really, this is the granddaddies, and I really like them for their historical perspective and the history that's behind them. They're much more meaningful in that respect. But as far as what my favorite is, because I think constitutional silver is my favorite to collect and hold on to because of the historical perspective. Really doesn't, not so much the condition is so much going to be great to have a bunch of mint stuff, but that's just not capable. But they're all simple coin designs, I guess you could say. Right off the bat, I can tell you that the Kennedy $50 are not my favorite. We'll just discard that. I really like, dimes are really popular because they're easily divisible for people. They're good to store up. They're inexpensive, and so you can stack these pretty hard and end up with a pretty good amount of silver in the long run without having to commit a lot all at once. But the Roosevelts, as we call them, the Chi-Com dimes a lot of times, are out too. So Roosevelt's not my favorite. That's for sure. The regular George Washington quarters they are what they are. They're silver quarters. They're nothing really spectacular. They look the same as quarters today do. Just you got to know what you're looking for in the year and for the silver edge. But they're not my favorite either in the constitutional silver realm. So that really narrows the field down. I don't have any barber dimes. The barbers are pretty cool. I don't have any that are in spectacularly good shape. They're hard to find, I guess you'd say, and they're a little more pricey. For my purposes of stacking, they're not like a primary. I've got the barbers more so for the historical significance, and then the $50 as well. They're just more the design and just the history behind them. I have them more so than any other reason. So those aren't a favorite. They're cool and good to have a few and whatnot. But that's not my favorite. The Mercury dimes they're definitely the favorite dime I like them better than Roosevelt's, and you can get them more often than the barbers. So the Mercuries are definitely a favorite in the dime realm, but they're not my overall favorite. It's a cool design and all, but just it's not quite doing it for me. So we're kind of we're narrowing the field down here a little bit. We've got a few candidates left, and there's other coins that are constitutional money that I don't have the designs for. That maybe if I got them, they might enter the race. But for these purposes and what I have, the peace dollar, the Morgan, and the Franklin half dollar are really what would narrow the field, I guess, and really I would have to choose between the three designs. The peace dollar is a really neat, and I like the eagle on the back, but I don't think I've ever seen a peace dollar like in a mint state. Even when I'm at the coin shop, I don't remember seeing many of these in a mint state condition. I don't know if you can't find them or it's just because they're not around here. Maybe if I saw one of those in mint state, it might make my top coin. And but I do like the overall design. It's fairly simple. It's not too complicated. And just the name peace dollars is kind of cool, but that doesn't make the top of the list either. So we'll slide that. So that leaves it between the Morgan and the Franklin half. The Morgans are really popular around here, especially the Carson City ones, of course. You can find lots of these that are really old, that are in really good shape, because they were so valued. This is a 1885 in really good condition, and they don't break the bank, even though some of the Carson City ones do. But the Morgan dollar is a really cool design, and you can find a lot of them in really good shape. I'm not sure why that is, but it's a really good coin. And the Franklin half dollar, 50 cents. Franklin, it's pretty simple. It's got the Liberty Bell and Ben Franklin on it. And I think that's the most significant thing about it, is it's the historical references that go into it. Why they chose to put Kennedy on there and go with the eagle on the back when they did the new ones, I think it seems like a disservice. Like, they downgraded for sure what was a great coin. I don't know why they did that. But there's definitely locally a lot of historical reference with the Morgans, and plus it's a full dollar. It's a full dollar coin. It's not a half dollar, which is kind of cool. The peace dollar pretty sure the peace dollar was the last full dollar coin that was made in silver. Nowadays they have the Sacagawea coin, and they had the Susan B. Anthony $1 coin. But they never made anything like this size after the peace dollar. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But those were... so the peace dollar keeps coming back in the mix here, doesn't it? It's definitely significant and a great piece. But really you can find some high quality, good looking coins in this, and it's got a lot of history behind that Morgan. But when I look at the purposes of stacking and having something of significance while still and having that value, I think the Franklin has got to be my favorite of any constitutional silver. They're fairly plentiful. They are fairly readily available, so they don't break the bank when you do get them. When you get one in a good mint state or collector type, you can get good proofs and stuff, but they have the historical significance of the Liberty Bell and Ben Franklin, who was, he wasn't necessarily a politician like so many of the other designs. So he's a historical figure without having the political overtones to it, I guess, like Roosevelt and Kennedy and Washington, presidents and stuff. Franklin had a different role, and he had a very significant role, though. And I think that alone, that's what really makes me like the Franklins more. And when I'm looking at stacking more constitutional in the future, I had been relying heavily on dimes a lot because of the fractionality, but I've got enough of those, I think, now that I'm going to be stacking some more Franklins, and I'm going to be looking for some more collector versions of this too, I think, because of that. But I really do like the Franklins, and a lot of it has to do with that historical reference with the Liberty Bell and his role in everything and the way it went down. As he said, we have a republic if you can keep it. When asked the question of what we had, a democracy or republic. So just wanted to put that out there. and show some comments and just some overlooked items, I think, in the silver world, in the coin collecting world in particular. The Franklin half, I think, is going to be my favorite, and looking for doing a little more with that in the future when I do look to get a few more for that reason. Just what does everybody else's think about, if you're into constitutional silver, what your favorite is? It'd be interesting to hear people's perspectives about why they collect what they collect. I mean, if you're looking just from a purely stacking sense, I guess pretty much any of them is what you get. But you don't have to pay the heavy premium on a Franklin like you do some of these older ones. It's right in that range, and plus it's a heavier coin. It's a full $50, so it's a little nicer in that respect. But that historical perspective on what's on it itself is what puts it over the top for me. So just sharing some thoughts, YouTube. See you next time. Live free.